miss y'all, and I just want you to know that I have really prayed for each and every one of you.
Thank you.
And I know that y'all pray for me because I have felt it. And I just want us to continue to live into what we are as a church, and that is just a very small, very vital church that loves each other. And so I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for everything that you do. We're going to stand together and we're going to sing Be Thou My Vision. Would y'all stand? 51. Because we know what it feels like to be fully free. And Lord God, I ask that you continue to shepherd us, continue to guide us and lead us. Help us to know what steps to take. And Lord, today I ask a special blessing on Barbara this morning. Barbara Johnson is at home with her back, and she texted and said she was just in terrific pain. And so Lord God, I ask that you take away that pain, that you give her calm presence, that you bolster her strength, for Bubba is coming home tomorrow. They will pick him up tomorrow and bring him home. And he, Lord, is doing so much better, and we know that is because of you, the ultimate physician, the healer. And Lord, I ask that you just continue to stay with Maureen and to bolster her spirit and to help all of the caregivers who are giving her what she needs, and Lord, all of the people who are just struggling and have challenges now. Lord, reminding them that you indeed are God and that you have the power power and the authority in the heavens and in our earth. And Lord, help us to pray all together this morning as you, your Son, taught us to pray, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Turn your eyes. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Savior, like a shepherd lead us. Good to hear y'all singing. That's the only word I have for both of my congregations. Y'all are just so faithful. And thank you so much for that. Also, this morning I do want to give you a date that's in the bulletin. July the 26th through the 27th at Christ United Methodist Church in Madison. Jamie Mortimer will be licensed as a pastor there. And I don't know when that will be, but I will keep you updated. I want you to put that on your calendar because I would love to show up for Jamie there and watch her in that with the bishop. The bishop will actually be giving them their licenses on the stage at some point. And so I invite you to put those dates on your calendar. We can travel together and see if we can't celebrate her appointment. So if you will do that. Now I want you to hear from John's Gospel, chapter 10, 1 through 10. I had a little watercolor experience, a little fun with that. I am the Good Shepherd. John 10:11. We're not going to get to that first, but he is the Good Shepherd. So I just wanted y'all to see. That's a lot of my time has been spent on the porch, as I have told many of y'all, I think. I have worshiped out there, and I have talked to God, and I have watched His creation, and it has just been a very special time, very special time. So hear these words from John 10, 1 through 10. I tell you the truth. Anyone who sneaks over the wall of a sheepfold, rather than going through the gate, must surely be a thief or a robber. But the one who enters through the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep recognizes his voice and comes to him. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. After he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them and they follow him because they know his voice. They won't follow a stranger. They will run from him because they do not know his voice. Those who heard Jesus use this illustration did not understand what he meant, so he explained it to them. I tell you the truth. I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me were thieves and robbers, but the true sheep did not listen to them. Yes, I am the gate. Those who come in through me will be saved. They will come and go freely and will find good pastures. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. This is the word of God for you, the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Today we celebrate. We celebrate because we are in worship again, together as a community.
Amen.
We have taken every precaution. Alan has helped us to be faithful to that precaution. I thank Alan for his help with that, for helping us to know that we need to wear masks, for helping us to know that we need to keep distance, and for seating y'all in pews that you may not have ever been in except for Hollywood.
Actually, they did that themselves.
Did they? Okay. Well, I appreciate you following the rules, and I just want to thank you for coming in to proclaim that you are a Christian and that you want to share the faith again together in the community.
Amen.
Over the last few weeks, as I said, I have taken a lot of time on my porch, and I have had my illustrator's Bible, and I have watched the view. And the view from my porch is a very special view. It's got rolling hills, has rustling wind in the pines, birds are chirping, cows are mooing, chickens are squawking as they lay their eggs. God's creation is alive and well around us, all of us. And sometimes I sense that we don't stop and see what God has to offer to our eyes. This morning, the lectionary text for the week aligned with creation really well. The 23rd Psalm is one of the lectionary texts, and of course you know it. It describes the Lord as my shepherd, where green pastures are available for a nap with Jesus. The storms in our lives from COVID-19 are calm because Jesus leads us beside still waters. He walks with us in the valley and on the mountain. Remember when Jesus feeds the 5,000, they sit down on the green grass, as it says, I believe in Mark's Gospel. Jesus is a host, and Jesus is a shepherd. Jesus gives them sustenance, food for their journey. He gives them eternal food. Shepherds guide their flock, don't they? They guide their flock to a certain destination. They know where they're going because they have to follow where the pastures are green. So today I ask you, are we able to be led to green pastures? These times of shelter in place and social distancing are foreign to us. And now they are even more than normal, it seems. Our spirits long for connection. Our spirits long for community. The 23rd Psalm reminds us that Jesus restores our soul. He leads us in right paths for His name's sake. In my New Interpreter Bible commentary, it says, when you hold the Psalms up side by side with the New Testament and you read each of them, it reveals that Psalms anticipates Jesus' bold presentation of God's claim on the whole world. I love that sentence. When you read them together, the Psalms anticipate Jesus' bold presentation of God's claim upon our whole world. I want you to live into that. I want you to think about that. We are small congregations, and I am so glad that we are able to come together to worship.
Amen.
I've said many times that God is doing something new, and I will tell you honestly from the very beginning, I started saying it because I didn't believe it. I just couldn't believe that we were going to be separated and not be able to come to worship. I've never experienced that in my entire lifetime, not being able to come into a church and worship. I've never had to wear a face mask. I don't wear a face mask when I cut grass. I don't wear a face mask when I clean out the chicken coop. I do have a little thing, but it's not a full mask like this is. And it's been a real challenge. One of the things that I really love doing is delivering bulletins and sermons. I love doing it because I prayed for you each and every time I prayed. It's helped me to stay connected to all of you. My road trips each Sunday provided a glimpse of where you spend the most of your time at home with your family. But today I want to know where your permanent home is. I want you to think about where you will live in eternity. We long for a shepherd to lead and walk with us through the dark valleys. The psalmist is stressed, even anxious too, because he feels a grave concern about a lonely walk through a long, dark valley. We've all been in that valley, haven't we, for the last month? And we've all been in that valley at one time or another throughout our lives. We're not told the reasons why he is fearful, just that he turns to God to dispel the fear. We, like the psalmist, need to remember that God is our provider. He sent Jesus, his only Son. And Jesus gave us the example of how we are to take care of each other. Jesus is our anchor in the storm. He's our good shepherd. In the ancient world, kings were known as shepherds of their people. So when we say, the Lord is my shepherd, we are claiming our loyalty to God and our intention to live under God's reign. Earthly kings, rulers, and presidents sometimes fail to provide and protect us. They're human, just like we are. They fail, just like we do. God does what a shepherd is supposed to do. He provides life and security for all of the people. The Lord is my shepherd, and I lack nothing. He gives me food and rest, and we are able to quench our thirst in still, quiet waters. When we feel the pressures of this earth becoming too difficult to bear, we need to stop, be still, know God, rest in the presence of God. And that is what I have found on my porch, is God's presence is now strong again within me. Sometimes we can even lie down in the pasture. Make sure you have somebody there to help you back up. But you can lie down in the pasture, and you can look up, and creation looks totally different if you're looking up from the ground, flat on the ground. I received a call from a couple of people who who wanted to help someone in distress with some funds that they had. And I want you to hear these challenging times by these people. Alan Pratt is our emergency director in Montgomery County, and I asked if there was anyone that had a dire need that these funds could go to help. AP, as he is commonly known, gave me the name of this person who was having a really hard time after her trailer was hit by a tree on Easter Sunday in Duck Hill. She has a son who was legally born blind, and she is on the liver transplant list. Her trailer is now parked, and it is waiting on MEMA to assess her damage, and the estimated time for assistance is 45 days. The situation is dire. And even though the trailer is severely damaged and really uninhabitable, she's staying there because her son is legally blind, and he knows his way around the trailer even though it is in bad shape. There's boxes all around him in the entire trailer that have been packed from the house with things that they will keep and things that they will sell. I visited with her and her son Friday to see what the needs were and to assess the situation and what maybe we could do through the funds that we had from these people and through Encore. I introduced myself to her and she began telling the story of her dark valley. You see, they were in their trailer during the storms on Easter, and she actually has a dog that protects both her and her son. They live a little bit out in the country. And the dog began to bark loudly. She was sitting on the couch in the living room, and the dog started rushing at her and trying to get her to come away. So she stood up and walked towards him to find out what was wrong. And about that time, the tree from outside fell down, and 3 branches hit 3 rooms, and one of them hit where she was sitting. But she was gone from there because the dog had alerted her that there was a problem. She needed to get up. She said she knows the Good Shepherd. She believes he will provide for her every need. We prayed in that ravaged yard of hers, and her son stood on the porch. He was listening to our prayer. The shepherd leads his sheep to pasture where the fields are green. The shepherd leads his sheep to calm, still waters so that they can drink. The Good Shepherd protects his sheep. He is the gate. He is the gate. There is no gate. If you have a gate in your head, there is no gate. It is the shepherd who's lying down to block any sheep from getting out.
Amen.
The Hebrew word hesed translates as mercy and love. God's hesed is at the heart of God's character. He sent a son so that we could know that we have a good shepherd. Even when Moses went up to Mount Sinai with the 2 stone tablets in Exodus 34, the Lord came down in a cloud and stood there with him and proclaimed the name of the Lord. God passed in front of Moses, proclaiming Yahweh, the God of compassion and mercy. I am slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. Hesed, in other words. God's goodness and mercy are paired together, and that is the reason that we are given to praise God. We're here today to do just that very thing. This Easter, there were tornadoes. The sheltering home has us a little anxious and struggling. Social distancing, how do we get groceries? What if something goes wrong? In all of that, we are called to praise God. Amen. We are called to remember that our good shepherd takes care of us. He lays his life down for the sheep. You see, sheep follow. They depend on God for provision, for guidance and protection. Their shepherd tells them everything they need to do, and they trust the voice of their shepherd. The psalm calls us not to think alone out of our individual comfort, but to take our place with others in the flock, to be in the household of God, to be held by God. We're called to trust God. The New Interpreter Commentary says that trusting God is precisely the challenge we have, because we are so used to trusting our own selves. We're so used to securing our own lives. It's so difficult to be vulnerable and say, God, take this from me
Amen.
because I cannot carry it anymore. Take this from me. And give it up and leave it there. Sometimes it's a little bit easy to give it to God, but then we just want to take it back. Well, let me help you there, God. You said I have some trouble with that. Let me help you. How do we humble ourselves before God? And how do we give God thanks for all that He's done for us? Porch sitting, or sitting in your favorite spot, outside in creation, seems to me to be a way to approach that challenge. Watching birds at a bird feeder, watching a squirrel eat their food, watching all of the wonderful beauty that comes from the flowers that just spring forth, watching the cows, watching all of the things that give you joy that God has made. We need to slow down. That's what God is telling us. Get out of the rat race and slow down. Take time to be with God because it helps us know that the valley is a pathway to the mountain. There's a song in our hymnal on page 138 called "The King of Love My Shepherd Is." I want you to hear these words. The King of love my shepherd is, whose goodness faileth never. I nothing lack if I am his, and he is mine forever. Where streams of living water flow, my ransomed soul he leadeth, and where the verdant pastures grow, with food celestial feedeth. Perverse and foolish oft I strayed, but yet in love he sought me, and on his shoulder gently laid, and home rejoicing brought me. In death's dark vale I fear no ill, with thee, dear Lord, beside me. Thy rod and thy staff my comfort still, thy cross before to guide me. And so through all the length of days, thy goodness faileth never. Good shepherd, may I sing your praise within your house forever. Today we have come home. We have proclaimed the word of God. God hasn't changed. God hasn't moved. He prepares a table for us full of food. There's water in abundance for us to drink. God protects us. He protects us from our enemies, known and unknown, and even the ones that are within us. God invites us to dwell in His house forever. The invitation is open to anyone. So will you have a seat there? Will you stay? Can we stand together and recite the 23rd Psalm? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen and amen. May be seated. Let's sing Victory in Jesus. Page 37. Stand. I like what you say, the Lord saying. that you have been invited with an open invitation to be in the permanent household of God. Amen.
Amen.